Hi, and welcome to the 10 square meter workshop. When you're working on things that are a bit small, you need some magnification. Don't know about you, but my eyes aren't getting any better and things do seem to be getting smaller. More on that after this. This was my previous lighting magnification system. Retrofitted with LEDs, it worked quite well, but the view is quite obstructed by the hood. And the arm is inconveniently close to other things. The magnification part is easily solved with a readily available head-mounted magnifying system. You can get a choice of lenses and there's a whole host to choose from. Much more convenient than a magnifying glass on an arm. I now need to arrange better lighting in the area where I do my fine work. I wanted a light that folded away as much as possible when not in use. It gave me a strong overhead light when needed. I'm using G9 bulbs because they're small, bright and easy to mount. You need at least 2 to prevent shadows, the more the better. These are 650 lumen daylight white bulbs. I decided that under this cupboard would be a good place to fit it, quite unobtrusive. The main construction material would be ply, this 6mm birch ply. In addition, I will be using a small piece of 12mm to make the arms, though of course these could have been laminated up out of the 6. There are a number of ways I could have cut up the wood, but in this case I chose to use the mini track saw that I made a while back. See below for details. One of the advantages of laminating is that I can make a route for the cable coming out between the laminations. Here it is marked out. As the dimensions aren't critical, I shall be cutting it freehand. And there we are. Not too bad considering you can't really see what you're doing. Cleaned up a bit with a chisel. The idea is that the cable can move as the lamp rotates. Here it is with the 2 pieces together. With that done, I can now glue and then pin the parts together. The 12mm yields the swinging arms. After a bit of band sewing, and sanding. With the rags removed, I now put these to one side ready for the final assembly. The glue is now set, so I can plane an angle of about 40 degrees. That allows the next part to be glued and pinned. Looking ahead, the two arms will fit into the space. Two small pieces make up the end caps, and these are glued and pinned into position. The last part is the front shroud, and that is definitely a make to fit part. Glue set and sanded, it now looks like this. So you can see a total of 4 layers giving a total depth of 24mm. It now gets a coat of white paint over the reflecting areas, and workshop grey over the rest. The bulb mounts were fabricated out of 6 and 3mm ply. I could have used sockets, but these bulbs are so reliable you can solder them in. While the glue's setting, I can fit the arms into the back recess. I'm fitting the arms with coach bolts and wing nuts so that I can adjust the tension. I'll cut the shaft to length when I'm finished. I'm drilling a small hole through the pivot that will be attached to the cupboard. This allows me to drill the hole through the cupboard right from the bottom, otherwise I'd be working blind. Putting the lamp in its final position. I can now drill the pilot holes. The holes in the cupboard were drilled out to 8mm and fitted with 6mm inserts. I've tensioned the arms, and now I'm putting a drop of super glue on the bolt into the insert from the inside to stop it turning. Next step was to mark and cut out the slot for the switch. The previously fabricated part was cut into 3 30mm lengths. The bulbs are soldered together in pairs, I'm using 6 altogether, and then inserted in the wooden holders. It was all then wired up and tested. Gosh, that's bright. I then capped all the electrical parts for safety. The wires were then dressed and the covers painted in. Time to test it. That's a lot of light. I now have a very bright work area with a minimum of space taken when it's not in use. Final step was to run the cable through the walls into the lighting circuit so there's no trailing wires. So it takes little space when not in use. It swings into use and switches on, and you get a nice bright light. It's important to have a bright light because it closes up your irises, increases the depth of field. It's the only way to do that. So, a small improvement in my workshop and how I work. By the way, I didn't use wing nuts in the end. Lock nuts were much better. It doesn't need to be adjusted. That's all for this time. Hope you enjoyed it. Why not subscribe? See you next time.